Okay, welcome to your first day, everyone. I'm super excited that you're all here and that we're all going to be doing stuff. Um, my tendencies, yeah, I would love to hear from you guys during this call in general. Otherwise, I can just talk for the whole like half an hour, 45 minutes, whatever we'll talk for. But yeah, it was really nice talking to you, Devika. So thanks for like being on camera and engaged. It's much more fun that way for me. Um, Okay, guys, like anybody else volunteer to come off video. Otherwise, I need reactions from you. This stoic silence doesn't work for me. So actually, like, yeah, does anyone like have a huge problem like being on video? Because yeah, this doesn't work. No. I need to know that you guys are with me. I need to know that you guys are engaged. Otherwise, it's very difficult. I'm not getting any reactions, even in the form of emojis or chat or something. I can't be talking to a bunch of black boxes. Sorry that I can't do that. So I need signs of life from the screens, guys.
Sir, actually, I have fever, and that's why I can't on my video right now.
Okay,
But
no
I
problem.
would love to do in person.
No problem. I appreciate you coming off mute and talking. Can you just like engage with the chat? Can I ask you to do that, Deepika? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, sure, sir, sure.
Thanks, guys. Can I hear the rest of your voices? I just want to know that these are not some note-taking apps or bots. Like, hi, Sahil, morning.
Good morning, sir.
Um, Everyone else, Sahil. So just some new people are joining today, so I'm just going to do like some onboarding stuff with them.
All
Um,
right, sir.
yeah. Yesterday, Sahil and I got on a call with some like industry people, and that was I don't know. I don't know how he liked it, but I have some new ideas for Kitab I want to talk to you about. But
All
just
right, sir.
carry on with your stuff. If you have things, let me just give me a little bit of time and we'll get to it.
Yes, sir. I have thought of something like how we can, you know, create the backend for the summary feature.
Okay.
Some ideas for
Just put it in the Figma. You have the link to that one.
that. No, the I was thinking that first I thought that we should just integrate some AI chatbot to generate the summaries in real time, but
Yeah.
that would be very inconsistent and sometimes
So go
generation fail.
One thing I want you to go check out this one. Duolingo has a new feature.
Yes,
You
sir.
can like calls with like an AI kind of avatar thing. Go check that
Yes, sir.
out. Okay, but just give me a bit of time. I'm just going to talk to these folks for a little while.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Okay. Thanks, Apurv. Pooja, Isha, Mahima. At least Mahima put something in the chat. Can you guys just give me some sign of life, please? Apurv, I got it. Awesome. Thank you.
Good morning.
Morning.
Hello, sir. Good morning.
Morning, Mahima. Thanks. Okay, Pooja's here. Pooja, I saw your LinkedIn. Great job. Yeah, the stuff you've been sharing
Thank you, sir.
on the projects you're doing is very cool. Great job.
Good
Isha,
morning, sir.
morning. How's it going?
Great.
Is this like early for you, or do you normally like are you up by this time, or I
No,
don't
I am okay this time. Actually, I'm also not well. My throat is not doing well, actually.
know. Okay. All right. Hopefully that gets better. Just like engage with the chat, no?
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Rashmi, around. Hello. Rashmi, are you around? Can you hear us? Okay. I really don't know at this point. Okay, but I think that's everyone. Okay, cool. Awesome. All right. I'm obviously going to record this call. So if you guys miss stuff or if there's stuff you're not kind of sure about, just yeah, you can go and refer to it. Devika, again, really appreciate that you're here and it's not just a bunch of black boxes. Thanks. Okay. So I sent you guys an email. Okay. Actually, before that, just a reminder that the goal of this course. I was talking to someone last night. He's a friend and he went to IIT and then he started working at Google right after. And he's basically worked at Google for like whatever 20 years now. And he worked for Waymo and recently he went back and now he's working at DeepMind. And I was telling him about this course, and I was like, oh, all these people are joining, and onboarding is happening, and I'm really excited. And he's like, dude, like employees are just going to stop being a thing. Um, like what one person could do with one employee and 10 people, now it's just going to be 10 agents. And I know that AI has been coming, and obviously like it's a big thing, but I don't know, I lived through the crypto wave and I lived through the ML wave, and so sometimes these like trends come and go. But yeah, I don't know if you guys have played a lot with these models and creating your own agents, giving them context. It's yeah, it's it's strange. Like the world is really like changing in a way that is it's kind of hard to predict at all. And so I guess the just a reminder that the goal here is to like make you guys independent, is to like free you from having to rely on all the stuff that everybody else kind of lays out, as being like the right path to follow professionally. Because yeah, even I was just like, yeah, it's a really really good time for this, because I think just the way that like I think she's not here right now, but someone was saying, oh, I want to be like a QA kind of person. I'm like, dude, like I don't think those jobs are going to exist in a few years. And even I don't know, in software, is anyone here not a software person? Is anyone in design or sales or something else? Okay. When I was doing one of my first jobs, my CTO was like teaching us all this stuff, and I was like, "Why? What's wrong with this man?" And even he was teaching us all this like architecture stuff, and he'd keep talking about architecture, and I was like, "I don't get it." And he was like, basically, like, "Listen, we're all trying to build a building together, and some people are bricklayers, right? They'll go and they'll take a plan and they'll like assemble the building, and then some people are like planners and they like manage those people, and then some people are architects, who will get like either like they'll have to build a new building, or they'll get an existing building and they have to like do some new addition to it, and they don't actually go and do it, but they're able to like think about how to do it. And I think the more and more like these low level tasks get automated, bricklaying will just not be a thing anymore. Like you writing code as like, oh, I am a person who writes like JavaScript code. Like GPT will do that way better than you guys, or any of us. So I think it's even more important that we like learn the higher level skills of like architecture and interfacing with people and kind of solutioning for people. I think all of that will become like continue to become more relevant. So yeah, I don't know. That was just a little like, just yeah. Remember that the goal here is to like become independent and like not be reliant on other people to like drive our career, that stuff. Okay, so let's talk about how the internship is actually gonna work. By the way, please interrupt me with questions and things. Sorry, this is like reflex Instagram opens. What am I showing you guys? Right. Did you all get a email, and did you see the email that I sent out yesterday? Can you just hit me
Yes,
with
sir.
if you got it? Yeah. Okay. So you should have access to your work folders. I think two people like emailed me late last night. I don't even think they're on this call, so it's fine. But you should all have access to your work folder. And let's go and take a look at it. Um, mm, 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 mm. Okay. So here we are. So you all have your folders here. So this is going to be the main way that you're going to be kind of your folder is going to be the place where you're going to keep all your work, and this kind of worksheet, which I'll ask you to rename to something like your name. Yeah, worksheet or something like that, right? Internship worksheet, apprenticeship worksheet, whatever. Okay, so overall for the call, what I'm going to do is just talk about some of the tasks that I sent you guys in the email, and then I'm just going to talk about this sheet and how like we're going to move forward and what the next steps are for you guys. Okay. Um, and also some like thoughts on kind of, actually even before that, there's just like a couple of thoughts. First is just be patient a little bit. Okay. I don't know, for many of you, this may be your first job. When I got my first job, it was at Accenture, like my first proper job. And I was like so excited. I was like, oh, I'm gonna work, and it's gonna be so excited. And I went and all pumped up. It took them 2 weeks to like onboard me, and then it took them another 2 weeks to put me on a project, and then it took another 2 weeks for me to start getting work. And I remember the most bored I was one day. It was like a Tuesday or something. I went out, and this was like in Toronto, and they were making a new sidewalk. Okay, some section of the sidewalk had broken apart. So they, like, these construction crews were there, and they literally like destroyed the sidewalk, put in the brackets, poured in the concrete, shaped it. And I sat for 3 hours and watched them do that entire process. Okay. So just not even in this job, even in other jobs, like it takes a little bit of time for you to get onboarded. So I very much appreciate all your enthusiasm. Just be a little bit patient. Okay. Even though stuff is like really well set up there, it'll take a week or two for you to like understand kind of how we work and how things go. So just be a little bit patient. Okay. Uh, that's the first thing. The second thing is be proactive. Okay. And you learn more about that in one course. But basically, I don't have the ability to follow up with all of you guys about, oh, have you done your work? Oh, have you finished this? Oh, have you finished that? This is a fairly self-driven course. I will make all the materials available for you. Um, but you have to like then kind of pursue it, and I will support you in whatever way I can. But I can't be like, I'm not your teacher. I'm not whatever. I'm not gonna follow up with you guys. That onus has to be on you. I'll help you with that, and we'll talk about a course that specifically addresses that as well. But no one's gonna like, if you guys are like very used to the college or school thing, they're like, oh, you have to show up in class. There's this like register, people are taking attendance. None of that is going on here. Okay. You kind of have to like be proactive and work this on your own. We're going to try one thing which is called accountability partners. You'll have one other person to keep you accountable. But still, that's not going to be me. So please be proactive. If you don't have work, if you're not sure what to do, like you, please take the responsibility to like follow up and like make things work for yourself. Um, and the last thing is just be communicative. Again, like, like this thing of just like, I can't see anyone, I don't know what's going on. That's fine. But even otherwise, just tell me what's going on when stuff is going on. Just communicate. It's really important. Yeah. So just please communicate actively and over communicate if that's what you need to do. I'll have office hours, and there'll be times, and you can email me, and I'm on the WhatsApp group. So there's many ways of reaching out. So when stuff is happening, just like let me know. So yeah, patient, proactive, and communicate. Those are the three kind of things. Okay. With that said, now let's go to the actual like work stuff. um, so this is your like, I've tried to like keep everything in here, and this has become like a little like expansive, but this is going to be kind of where we work. Can't see. This is going to be where we work. And so there's hopefully like all of you will have the same kind of format. And So I'll just go through the tabs quickly. The first thing is just like about you. Just like give me a little bit of context about you, kind of, you know, where you live, like which city you're in, what you studied, what you're doing right now, just so that I know. Just put that in the first tab. Just like a little bit about yourself so that I kind of know who you are. Please put your social links, any public social links that you have. So yeah, that's the first tab. The second tab is your kind of mission statement. This will come later. Don't worry about this for now. But it's there for a reason. Roles and goals is actually going to be one of your first tasks. So before we decide what you want to work on or what you're going to be working on, we need to know where you want to go, what your goals are. And so this is going to be like one of your first tasks. There's 3 questions here. The first question is, imagine it's 1 year from now and you've gotten exactly what you wanted from the internship. How are you different? Like, what has changed if everything goes well? Here, just like write down as many things as you'd like. And then later on, I'd just like you to pick the most important one that seemed the most relevant to you and write it down here. Does that make sense? Thumbs up if that makes sense. Thanks, Deepika. All right. Hopefully it makes sense to the other people too. Okay, so now, and then this is an exercise I'm asking you to do. This is called rules and goals. And so, yeah, you'll have to read through this and kind of do this exercise. Again, Devika, I see you making notes. That's great. But yeah, like make notes. I love that. But I'll just show you like there's already a way in which we're going to capture that here. But yeah, like great. I love that. Yeah, so I'm going to ask you to do some roles and goals. We're going to figure out kind of what your goals are across kind of different ways in which, you're a person. And then we're going to pick some, and then that's going to become here. And so these are going to be like the active goals that you're pursuing. You may have like hundreds or thousands of goals for your lifetime, but you can't pursue them all at once. And so we're going to pick and work together to figure out what you're kind of going to be focusing on in the short term. And then this is your task tracker. This is where we're gonna put like all the work that you have to do. So as we talk about work and assign work, it'll come here. Most or some of the stuff that's in your onboarding documents which you received, that's already here. So set up your calendar. Really important to set up your calendar well and have that cleaned up and ready to use. Set up your email. Again, this is covered in the onboarding docs. Right? Calendar. Yeah, and yeah. What is this? Camera. Yeah, you need a laptop with a camera. Get internet that works. You have access to your folders. This is the email thing. Get a notebook. Join the WhatsApp group, and then these are some things you could read. So I think most of these are going to be here. Yeah, so most of the stuff is already captured here. So this is an example of how you're going to keep your tasks. Right? And when, let's say you finish this, like your calendar set up, just mark this is done, and then eventually we'll hide it. This is a really basic kind of to-do list kind of tracker. There's all kinds of apps and fancy things. I started working at a very kind of enterprisey company, so we used Excel for everything. And just to keep everything in the same place, we're going to try and do this, but long term, you can kind of, change it. But for now, we're just going to keep all your tasks here. So yeah, so right now your tasks are set up your calendar and email, read this thing, get a notebook, join the WhatsApp group, read these 3 documents. This is execution, and that's what we'll kind of start talking about today. M1C. Oh, actually, I just remembered one thing I wanted to do. Okay. So yeah, these are your tasks to start with. Does that make sense? So all your tasks, whenever in the internship, all of your tasks will ideally come and live here. So you can just pick them up from here and then, put them into your system for doing things. Okay. I don't know if you guys got a chance to read this or if it made sense to you. It may, or did anyone get a chance to read this?
Not entirely, but yes, I did go through it.
Okay. Okay. So basically, these are the 3 broad streams of work we're going to cover. The first one is systems courses. Okay. I don't think you guys saw this presentation, or did you? Oh, you did. You remember the and I'll do differentiate. Remember this part? Okay. So these systems things are this foundational layer. Okay. This is going to be useful for you forever. If you work in engineering or you decide to switch fields, you do anything, this layer is going to be useful and very useful. And so this is the one kind of first stream of work. Okay. Yeah. So it's just fundamental structure, able to work and learn independently. Yeah. So this is going to be like useful across the board. There's some kind of, so these are the courses we're going to start with is execution and deep work. Then we're going to cover morning pages, and then these are some prerequisites. And then we'll kind of start talking about more kind of these system courses. Okay. So the first stream of work, the broad stream of work in the internship is systems courses. The way that they're covered in your main tracker is here. Okay. So all of the courses are broken down, and the courses are like 80% complete. So just, bear with me while they get to 100%. But all of the systems courses have multiple stages, because do you guys know what an interface is? Anyone know what an interface is? Room full of engineers. What's an interface? All right, Mahima, what is it? Just send it in the chat. What's an interface in programming?
User can connect with the system with the
Sorry?
help of interface. User can connect with the system with the help of interface.
Yes,
Interconnecting.
you're right. So like a graphical user interface, text interface, that kind of thing.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so Mahima has a different answer. Interface in Java is a blue script of behavior. The Java interface contains static constants and abstract methods. Okay. Yeah, that's a really good definition. So basically, what I would say is it's an abstract contract, right? When you say something is like callable, then you know that you're defining certain functions, and that anything that is callable will define those functions and return the way that that interface defines. So it's an abstract way of defining behavior. Okay. I'm sure there's a more technical definition, and I'm sure my old CTO would be very upset that I don't know it. But okay. So the reason that I say that is that all of these courses are written with a common interface. And that interface is defined here. Okay. All systems follow a similar kind of pattern. And so here we talk about the pattern, and there's some kind of things. But basically, the reason that I'm talking about this is because there's different stages of building a system. So in the first stage, you just want to try and experiment with the system, right? You just want to see if it works for you. Me telling you, hey, like Devika, like you should really do execution because I did it and it's fantastic, it doesn't mean anything. Because who am I? What do I know about you? Like, what do I know about your life? Like, why will something that worked for me work for you? So there's no reason that anyone will ever accept this, right? The only way that people kind of repeat behavior is if if they've done it in the past and they felt good after doing it, right? Positive kind of conditioning is the only reason we repeat behavior. And so basically what we're going to do is we're not going to like go it all in and be like, oh, this is our end all be all of our system. You're just going to first give it a try. Okay, you're just going to experiment with it, see how it goes. It's like a first date. You just go and like suss out the person, like, oh, do they like smell okay? Like, do they have like a terrible dress sense? Just make sure there's like not huge red flags for which you immediately dismiss them, right? Then you're going to like run the system a little bit longer, and until you feel the chemistry, right? You've gone on a few dates and now you're starting to feel something, right? You've got some moments you're like, oh, this could actually really work for me, or I can see how this might be really nice. um right? And then the third one is, okay, now you start kind of defining, okay, this is how we relate to each other. So this is where you kind of start changing the other person as well, like, or the system. So you have tried it a few times, you know what stuff works for you. Now you start like being a little more assertive, be like, oh, you know what, I like these three things, but this one thing, we're going to have to come to some kind of like agreement on how we can change that, right? And so this is the stage where you're kind of like changing things to like make it a better fit for you. And fourth is kind of making it official. This is where you are like, oh, this system really works for me. And you're just like, okay, now we're like a good match, and now we're gonna like start like working together. So there's stages of building the system, right? It's not like a one-time thing. Because yeah, so the coming back to this, that's the reason. Okay, so these are like some of the main system courses that I would like you to explore. You don't have to do all of them, but I would like you to at least read through all of them. These module zero things aren't really courses. They're not systems. They're just like stuff that'll help you give you like a certain kind of grounding in some ideas. So I've just asked you to read them 3 times, because the first time it won't make sense to you. Then you do some of this stuff, then you come back, it'll make more sense to you. So the exit criteria for this is just like, just read them 3 times at some point. Okay, you don't have to read them 3 times now. But for the systems courses, what I want you to do is like write down the date on which you first read that, Okay, so let's say you read this today, which hopefully you will. Let's call it, what is it, 19th? 2025, right? And then let's say Deepika then like, oh, like tries it out next week. Then on the date that she completes that, just like put in the date, right? Does that make sense? And then as you go on, you just keep putting in dates. Your goal here is to turn all of these green. Okay. When you've completed stage 4 and you have demonstrable proof that you've completed stage 4, and we'll talk about how you're going to do that, we'll give you a certificate for that. Okay. And I promise you that certificate will mean something. I won't give it to you just for like nothing. So the idea is here that then you become comfortable, and then eventually you want to be like, this is what we're really going for. Like, when you unlock this, then this becomes green. Does that make sense? Okay, so that's how I'm imagining you guys are going to move through the first stream of work, which is the systems courses. Does that make sense? I'm going to pause here. Any questions at this point? I don't believe you if you say no.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, tell me.
Sir, I just want to know that what you are doing at Hive or like what we will be doing at Hive, because I also checked your website on Google and the idea of Hive sounded a little vague to me. So if you just can give a brief about the company.
Okay. Any other questions?
No, sir, just this.
I mean, for anyone else. Okay, so basically we're a venture studio. Okay. I saw in San Francisco that venture studios are moving earlier and earlier in the founder cycle. Earlier, everybody was like, oh, I only want to invest in Series B companies, Series C companies. And they were like, oh, we'll do A, oh, we'll do seed, oh, we'll do pre-seed, oh, we'll like kind of work with founders even before they have an idea. So the stage is getting earlier and earlier. Okay. And for me, then the problem was that people are like looking for founders, but nobody's really making founders. And so kind of the idea of Hive is to create people who are super independent, super able to create their own value. And then eventually work with them to start companies, and then also to create like a pool of people who can then work with those founders to like build companies. Okay. That's the kind of long
Got it.
goal. The way that we're doing that is 3 things right now. So we're doing this training and development because we need people who can build. So right now you guys are essentially like as a part of your internship, you're doing this Hive Builder apprenticeship, right? If some of you want and are kind of, I think on a good path, then there's another kind of program that I have after this, which is the Builder Fellowship, which is when you start building companies and ideas, right? So this is kind of where you are right now. We have some in-house tech products. So one thing we're working on right now is Kitabnama, and this will be the main like tech product that you guys work on, unless somebody comes up with a really brilliant idea of what else to do. But yeah, the idea here is to help people become better readers, and you'll learn why I care a lot about that in deep work, which is the next module you'll be studying. Basically, imagine that. Have you guys seen Wall-E?
No, sir.
Anybody seen Wall-E?
Yes, sir.
Somebody has?
Yes, sir.
Sorry, I don't know. Oh, Isha, is that you?
Isha. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Can you tell everybody just like a little bit about the story?
Like it's like about very in future, very much in futuristic, where the Wally is like a product kind of a thing. So
Mhm.
which is already expired, like no one uses it, and the politicians, they have predicted that like there would be no life on earth, so they shifted outside in the space.
Hmm.
So like everyone is dependent in that one spaceship, and they're
Mhm.
all dependent on machines, and like they are not working, they are only on machine. And even the future student, like the future sure captain, and everyone is dependent in that way only.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you for that.
Okay.
So basically, it's a future where we've gone on to spaceships, and like this has become like, can you see this picture? Like basically everybody's like, nobody's walking, everybody's like sitting on these couches and being like wheeled around, and they have a screen in front of them, and basically they don't see anything else. Okay. to a large extent, I think we've avoided the fate of becoming fat and, whatever, like unable to walk because we all care too much about how we look. So I think broadly humanity has avoided that fate. But what's happening is we're just not able to use our brains we're just not able to use our brains. Our brains have just become really weak. We're not able to like do very much like challenging intellectual work. And so like if you can imagine the mental, like your brain as a muscle, like it's become really weak and it's atrophying. Um, and so again, you'll talk about this in deep work, but the idea of kitabnama is to like make or try and make that not happen. And reading is one thing that will kind of make your brain work. You can't do reading without using your brain actively. The difference between consuming stuff on video and reading is that you can watch a video without any active engagement, right? But when you read, you have to use your brain. And also reading is just like, I mean, apart from the fact that it'll like strengthen your mental muscle, give you the ability to like just focus and do actual tasks. It like everything that I know about work, I learned from books. I never had very good managers. I never had like, I didn't go to some, I mean, not that I think an MBA would have helped, but I never went through some, fancy Google, whatever, like, training program. I just kind of had to figure it out on my own. And being able to read books was such a big, huge superpower for me. And I think with AI and all this other, like, all this stuff coming, actually the ability to do this will be even more important and more valued. And the kind of incentives to do it will be like more, but people will do it less. And so the idea of Kitabnama is to like help people become better readers. You guys are going to be using it. I had an idea to use it for schools as well, and there's a whole story about that use case. But this is kind of the software that we're working on right now. Um, we do product and design consulting. So we did some project we were talking about yesterday, so we can do some of this stuff as well. And then this is like kind of what we want to do long term is build our own products. I don't know if you guys have ever done product or design consulting. We can do it for money, but it's a good learning experience. But there's nothing like building your own products and figuring that out on your own. So that's kind of everything that we're doing right now. Does that make sense? Was the question?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Let's go back to where we were. Where were we? Anybody remember? Okay. We were talking about systems, right? So this course, this tab in your course is about systems, and that's the first stream of work we're working on. Make sense? Okay. All right. The next broad stream of work you're going to be working on is process courses. So if you go back to this video, right, work systems now we've covered. Process is what we do. Okay. How do you become a better engineer? Yeah, how do you become a better engineer? How do you become like a world-class engineer? And how do you become an engineer that keeps getting better for the next 30 years, right? In engineering, there's like, again, I used to work at Accenture and I was pretty good at work. But I was a financial analyst. And so my job was to like move numbers around in an Excel sheet. And I got really good at it. I could do it only like, even at my peak, I could do it like maybe twice as fast as somebody else. Okay. I was twice as effective as somebody else. And I was just like, this doesn't make any sense. But the difference in engineering, especially, I mean, even more so now, again, like it's hard just to ignore how important like AI agents are becoming like at this very moment. But even before this, a good engineer could be 100 or 1,000 times more effective than a bad engineer. Okay, it's just absurd. The variance, like if you like work in a factory and your job is to like hammer nails, you can only be like, how much better can you be than anybody else, right? But you guys have all chosen a field where one person can be 100 or 1,000 times more effective. So there's a huge divergence in kind of the skill and the ability to create value of engineers. And so the question is not only how do you learn now, but how do you make it so that over the next 30 years, whatever happens, with AI and all this like stuff, you still add value and that you have knowledge that other people don't have, right? So that's what we're going to be covering in the process course. And that's kind of the idea there. There's an engineering track. You can take a look at this. There's a bunch of stuff to find here. This is also like the basis for this is going to be this module learning skills. So we're going to be using that. But yeah, you need to like learn how to become better engineers. I won't let you work on production code until I have some confidence that you guys are like reasonable engineers. Otherwise, I'll just spend the whole time just like, I don't know if you guys have you ever like, I don't know, you you just spend the whole time teaching people, right? You'll tell them, oh, like if I tell you go and implement this interface, abstract this, and like don't write hard code this, but use a template and like make an implementation of that you can then hook up to the model, right? That stuff needs to make sense to you. If it doesn't make sense to you and you just go and like write some code, then I'll spend like a bunch of time teaching you that. So rather than that, I would rather that you first go and learn like some basic stuff. I think everybody needs to like contribute and have code merge. Like it's very exciting, and the most fun thing is when your code merges. There's a little bit of stuff you need to know before that. And yeah, so you're gonna have to do this. This is like all of your actual engineering kind of stuff lives here. Uh, So we're going to work together. I'll keep assigning you things to read. This is like a master list that we have. So there's a bunch of books here. Normally, I ask people to start reading Pragmatic Programmer. It's a really, really good foundational book. Um, and more than teaching you any specific thing, it teaches you how to become a better engineer, which I really love. So that's going to be the first book. Design patterns and design principles are really important. It's how you make sense of like languages at a high level. Because I don't know, so many people come and they're like, oh, I know Java. And do you have any like Java work? It's like, no, like, okay, I have engineering work. Okay. Is Java the right tool for it? That's a question we can talk about. But if you go to a job and you're like, I can only program in Java, it tells me that you're a bricklayer. And there's nothing wrong with being a bricklayer. It's just that you understand how to put a certain kind of part together. That's objectively not as valuable as understanding that, oh, this is a certain kind of task that requires a certain kind of tool. This is the right tool for this kind of task. But not only do I know this tool, I know why it's a good tool. I understand the reasons why it's a good tool. And I know what other languages or frameworks might be good tools as well, because I understand that these are implementations on top of some other code, right? There's abstractions. Is this the right level of abstraction? Do the rules of this kind of tool make sense for me? Right? If imagine you like hire someone to build your house and they're like, I only know how to use a screwdriver. Okay. We're like, great. The day I need to like screw in my screws, I'll call you. But right now, you're of no use to me. Right. So yeah. So again, design patterns really good. They'll just like help you understand at a higher level what is going on in different languages, going on in different frameworks. You should be able to like look at like whatever React and say, oh, this is why it's different from Angular, and this is why it's different from Spring Boot or whatever. Like the tools to understand that require you to like understand things at a higher level. So it's a really good book. Git, fantastic. I don't know, man, like just being an expert in Git, you'll get hired because, you know, normally when there's Git issues, like people just freak out. There's like one person on the team who can fix Git issues. So just having a really good, deep foundational understanding of Git. And I don't think source control is ever going to go away. I mean, I don't know, these are guesses, but I don't think it's going to go away. So just having some nice idea of Git is great. And if you can go to interviews and talk about Git at a foundational level, good. Okay, Clean Code, fantastic book. The cost of writing code is like $1, and the cost of maintaining code is like $99 over the lifetime. Okay. The cost of writing is a very small component of writing code. So how to make maintainable code, how to keep systems maintainable. It's really, really valuable. Yeah, so that's that. This is a really good, oh my God, I love this video. I just saw it yesterday again. It's about like AI website builder. It's about yeah, just thinking like an architect. So what you yeah, this is really good. I really like this course. He's just great. And he makes the same analogy, right? He's like, there's people who like lay bricks, and there's people who like, you know, coordinate certain rooms, and then there's architects, and you're going to play different roles at different times. But this is the part of the work that it's actually really hard for, I think, AI to do potentially. But yeah, you're just understanding stuff at a higher level. Really nice talk. Yeah, yeah. It just like, yeah, made a lot of sense to me. And then yeah, this really helped me. Okay. What else do we have? Design or design, head first design patterns, whatever. Concurrent programming, JavaScript, the good parts. Man, I have this funny story. My CTO did not like JavaScript. But then he gave me this book, and I'm like, oh, but why did you give me this book? And so he's like, oh, okay. Then he brought two books. Okay, he's like, there's one book which is this thick, which is called About JavaScript. And then there's one book which is this thick, which is called The Good Parts of JavaScript. Okay. And that was his joke. But anyway, this is a really nice book. It's kind of like, yeah, interesting. This is just about APIs. I think we were designing APIs at some point. Oh, this is like a really basic, like how do you write good commit messages? This basic thing just like drives me insane sometimes when people just are never taught how to write good commit messages. And yeah, when you get into software land, you realize like commit messages are really important. This is a book I found yesterday. It is very, very interesting. It's very foundational. Oh wait, no, this is not the book. This is something else. Anyway, there's another book that I found yesterday that was very interesting. But yeah, so these are some of the books you'll be reading as a part of the process layer. You'll also be finding your own resources, which we'll cover in how to build skills or whatever that uh, module is. So yeah, okay. So that's the process layer. You'll be doing this. This is really important, and you will become really good. Honestly, if you just do this for like, if you get into this and you like figure this out, like there's no competition. If there's any like, yeah, if there's any like, I mean, I'm sure there'll be engineering jobs available. And the more important thing is actually, I'll tell you the risk here is if you do all this, you will become so far ahead of the people who interview you, they will not realize who they're talking to. And so your real challenge will become, how do I find people who understand my value? Like I'm just telling you, that will become your real issue. Because even a lot of like senior engineers, blah, they don't know any of this. So if you can figure this out, you will really, really be like just on another level. And yeah, so that's the process there. Questions? Does that make sense? Devika, fantastic. Already like, yeah, so happy. Thank you so much. Anyone else? Make sense? Questions? Okay, cool. That's the process layer. You'll get onboarded. You can work on Kitabnama. I'll want to see a certain level of expertise and maturity before I let you work on that. Because honestly, it takes a lot of my time and a lot of the time of the senior kind of technical, like I don't know what to call it, lead developer. And it's very expensive, and we're not gonna do that unless you're in a place where we think it's worth it. Just candidly. So yeah, getting to work on at least Kitabnama is a right you'll have to earn. If you want to work on your own products, I'm very happy if you do that. Yeah, here I'm not gonna, yeah, it's just like a lot of work for me if you guys, yeah, work on this. So that may not happen all the time for everyone or in a hurry. Okay. The last thing is inspiration. This is like the easiest part. These are the two main, like gritty, hard parts. Inspiration is much more fun. And basically it's about how do we want to do great work. We'll just listen to stories and learn about people who done really fun stuff. It'll also be like a little bit of a break for you. The people who are doing this full time, I actually have like a whole day kind of planned and set up. And so in the evenings, the idea was that you can kind of go and just like watch TV, and just like see what great work people have done. And yeah, and just like in general, like, not everything is about just learning all this other stuff. There's a Oh, did I move it? What? Oh no, that's terrible. Okay. I've moved from the calendar, so I'll figure it out again. Yeah, but inspiration is essentially about reading about people. I can tell you. Yeah. Just like there's a really nice book about Steve Jobs. There's like I don't know if you guys have heard of Isaac Walterson. He's this like New York Times journalist, and he wrote these like bunch of biographies. And they're really cool. Da Vinci was an insane guy, man. Just the level of like curiosity he had about everything was like unbelievable. Dealers of Lightning is fantastic, especially if you guys are engineers. You should really know about Xerox PARC. It was this research center that was set up by Xerox in the 70s. Yeah. And basically they invented like so many things. List of inventions. They invested like the GUI, they invented the mouse, they invented Ethernet, they invented the laser printer, like the PC, like just so much stuff was invented at Xerox PARC. It's unbelievable. And this book just covers kind of, what happened there, who the researchers were, how they were brought together. It's such a fun book. One thing I want you guys to do is like just like watch YouTube videos and newsletters. There's so much fun stuff there. I don't know if you guys have seen Asianometry. Wait, YouTube channels. Okay, let's do this. Asianometry, such a fun channel. It's more about like, yeah, it's not always about tech. He does like a deep dive into semiconductors, but yeah. And then Veritasium is one of my favorite. Anybody watch Veritasium? Anyone seen Veritasium? No? There's this like fascinating 30-minute video about how blue LEDs were invented. It's just so much fun. I love practical engineering. And the reason that we're doing all this is because when we talked about this, the main thing is like curiosity. Like really like just if you just become curious about things, it will make all of this work stuff so much more fun and so much easier. And in fact, in some ways, I think that's the only way to do it. And so we're going to try and find things that you're genuinely curious about. Um, and I think people like make a concerted effort to stamp out curiosity through our lives, right? Hopefully you didn't go to hopefully you had like some good teachers somewhere in your life who kind of kept that some flame alive. So we're just going to try and like chase that wherever it takes us. Really, wherever your curiosity takes you, it's fine. It's that, it's that spark of doing something itself that we want to keep alive. And so we're going to do that in whatever way we can, wherever that leads us. There's going to be a bunch of like newsletters that you can read. Honestly, like, yeah, again, all of this covered in the modules, like you'll get there. But yeah, there's really, really fun stuff. Okay, so that's the third thing, which is, where are we? Yeah, no, that's not it. That's not it. Okay, that's the third stream. Okay. And then success criteria is your main thing is to keep your notebook up to date. Okay. And you learn what the notebook is and what you need to write in it and what that's going to be. But it's basically going to be a physical kind of manifestation of all the stuff that you've learned. Um, and that's your like you have two jobs. Okay. One is to keep your notebook up to date and share progress every week. And the other one at the end is I'll ask you to like create two public descriptions of work. I might change this. I actually think that doing a kind of more frequent kind of public work is probably maybe a better idea. And so these are the two things that you need to complete the internship. Okay. Without this, I'll give you a certificate of participation or whatever, like for those of you who have university and things, as long as you're around and like present and doing stuff. I'll give you the certificate. For people who are actually going to get like the apprenticeship certification, that is something I'm not going to give out easily. I'm only going to do that if like I want that to mean something. And so I won't give that out easily. Yeah, but that's different from your like whatever regular like participation certificate. You can take that. I don't care. But your actual thing, this is like the success criteria. Okay, cool.
So I have one more thing to ask,
Uh-huh.
if I can. So let's say I am learning machine learning and I want to be worked as a AI ML engineer,
Okay.
but in now I'm in the process. So how Hive can help me out, or how I can work at Hive, like if you can guide. Like the work you are suggesting is like only reading books or updating the modules. Like I'm also learning machine learning through. I'm figuring out like I have not participated or taken any fancy course as you said. I'm figuring out it on my own by the books, like hands on machine learning, Python. So just I want to know that how I will can help at Hive, or how Hive will help me out.
Um, okay. How you can help at Hive? I don't know what your skill sets are. I don't know kind of what you're doing. Um, so I don't know if you can help. We'll figure that out and
Let's
see.
so I have learned Python, and now I'm
No,
currently
I
I'm working
understand.
on.
I understand. But I'm just saying, like, I can't answer that question right now. For that,
Okay.
we'd have to talk a
But in
little.
near future, like how Hive will help me out to become an as AI ML engineer, or like this is not the criteria or the purpose of Hive. Like I just told you earlier that the idea of Hive is like a little vague to me. I didn't
Okay.
understand.
If at this point it's not making sense to you
Yeah.
how it's going to help, then I mean, that's fine. I would say give it a try for a week.
Yeah,
If,
will surely I will.
yeah. And honestly, if you think it's not helping you and you have other ways that you think are more productive, please go for it.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Um, that said, I think it will really help you no matter kind of what you're doing, but that's kind of your call. Okay. What's the last thing? Okay. So this is systems courses. This is the process courses. So this will come here, kind of what you're working on the process layer. This page needs to be worked on a little bit. So right now it's a little bare, but whatever you work on, whatever kind of sources you generate, they'll come here. This is something we used to do. I would like for this to happen kind of in your work notebooks. If your notebooks aren't happening at all, we'll do it here. And essentially you keep a log of kind of what goals you had for the week, what you did, what you learned, how much do you enjoy the week, any good resources that you encountered, and the number of deep work sessions you got done. The deep work sessions you got done is the main KPI we're going to be tracking. Everybody know what a KPI is? Yes, no. Just can you do a thing on the thing? No. Okay. Anyone else? Is there like a no response on the thing? Wait. Oh, that's so weird, dude. You can send a thumbs up. You can't send a thumbs down. How are you supposed to like anyway? Okay. Yeah. So deep work session is the most important. Sorry, KPI is a key performance indicator. It's just a way to like measure what you do and how that, yeah. So it's just like the goal, almost the most important metric is the KPIs. It became really popular at Google a while ago, and now people are going back and forth about it. I still think KPIs make a lot of sense. But yeah, so there's going to be some KPIs that we're going to talk about. Again, this is like not fully like, there, but the number of deep work sessions, I think, is the most important thing. It's going to speak to how much you're engaged. And again, you don't know what deep work means right now, but that's the most important thing. And then these are just like other ones, just like how many articles have you published, how many words have you read, and how many impressions have you got while you're sharing your work. Attention span, I don't know how exactly to measure that. And then if you're in growth and entrepreneurship, just how many like cold emails have you sent? Those are some ideas. But that's the whole kind of worksheet. Okay. So what you're going to be doing broadly is once a week, you're going to be like looking at this, you're going to be taking tasks, and then you're going to be completing those tasks. As you complete them, we're going to add more tasks, and we're going to pursue these 3 lines that we just talked about. Okay, that's the overall way that this is going to work. All right, does that make sense?
Guess so.
Okay. Pooja, make sense?
Yes, sir.
Oh, cool. All right. Okay. So now, whenever you guys are like, oh, what am I supposed to do? The answer should be on your task sheet. Okay. The answer is on your task sheet. This is what you're supposed to do. All of you should have a work folder. All of you should have your own task sheets. They should all have these set of things. They will obviously diverge as you start kind of going forward. But this is what you need to do. So there's 2 things I would say, right? Okay, so just do this about us thing. Okay, just so I have some context. Do this tab, roles and goals. Okay. And finish any stuff on here that you haven't done before, anything from the onboarding stuff you haven't done before or already. So ideally, what I want from you guys is like all of these are marked done. Yeah, this is what I'm going for. Just like go for this. And the next point that the one kind of major point we're going to talk at is once you've completed this X1, M1, X1, which is how to set goals. And like, it's fairly detailed. Again, if any of these things don't make sense to you, the document should ideally be really, really clear and well explained. I try to keep them simple, but everything like is fairly important. And I've tried not to include stuff that isn't important. So try not to skip over steps and that kind of thing. Yeah. So that's what I am looking for from you guys is just like complete this stuff. And once you're done with this, there's a section in this that says like go talk to an instructor. For the time being, that's only me. So when you're done, then come talk to me about this. Okay, that's everything I think. For execution, I recorded a video yesterday because I realized some of you may struggle just like reading. And I found like when I was teaching in person, then I was just like, oh, like, just like giving some context about kind of what the thing is was helpful. So there's this like now this like video, half an hour video to go along with the execution module. In the am I over? I think I'm overloading you guys. I think I've maybe said too many things too fast, and I have probably run out your like RAM for now.
So I just want to talk to you about the execution system.
Wait.
This is the
Oh,
first
that's me.
course that we do
I was like, who
in
talking?
higher apprenticeship.
That sounds a lot like.
And
Okay. All right. How you guys doing? Can you give me like a score of between, I'm going to do this a lot, by the way. I'm going to ask you guys to give me scores. So 1 to 10, like how much sense is this making? That's the first question. Like the stuff that I said on this call, 1 to 10, how much sense did it make? Just pop it in the chat. Okay. Mahima? Pooja? Okay. Apur? Isha? Okay. 6, 7, 8 are the answer I'm getting. How overwhelmed are you at this point? How much you're like, oh my God, this is so much. How are we going to do this? Out of 10? See, if you guys were all on video, I would just ask you to do this, and then we won't have to do this 3 times, but you chose your own fate here. Okay. Overwhelmed? 10 means like, oh my God, this seems like crazy. Is the same question? Maybe not. Maybe it is. Out of 10, overwhelmed? Yes, no, even works. See, I need this because I can have my breakfast now. What do you guys think about this? Okay, after Kitabnama explanation, Mahima got confused about task. Yeah, that question was kind of not really related to anything. Maybe I should have put it off for later. Don't worry about that. That was a tangent. Any other questions? There's this software that comes that like plugs into Zoom. And it tells you kind of what the distribution of like talking time is between different people. Like I don't even need that right now. It's like 99% me. Which guys, this is not gonna work. I'm just telling you. This ain't gonna work. Okay. Mahima doesn't have a worksheet. Did you email me last night, Mahima? Okay. Right. Cool. I will create one for you. And guys, often if I have lots of things going on and I I tend to drop stuff. So when I tell you I will do stuff and if I don't do it, it's on you to like follow up with me. But Mahima, I will do it right now so that this is not an issue because that's a big thing that you need. Mahima, what? Someone tell us a joke, man. I'm bored of hearing my own voice. Like a real joke, not just a meme. While I create Mahima's folder. Fine, you can do like you can write in the chat, but I want to joke before I do anything else.
The joke says, why do programmers like dark mode so much?
Because they what attract bugs.
The light mode attracts the bugs the most.
Yeah, we got that same joke in the. Did you ask GPT that?
No, sir. Gemini.
Gemini. Okay. I asked the same thing on a different call and we got the same answer.
AI generates all the same jokes always.
Oh yeah. What is happening? Okay. And Mahima, can you just pop your email in the chat quickly? Mahi the best. No. Mahima. Is there a different email that you emailed me from? Because I have Mahi the. Okay. I yeah, think this is probably like a nicer email. Okay. Okay, I sent you a thing. You should have it. That I like. They don't have the guts. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, guys. Appreciate your showing up for the comedy. All right. How excited are people out of 5 or 10? How excited are people out of 10? Nice. Nice. All right. Cool. Rashmi's work folder is an opening. All right. Okay, we'll sort that out. In general, if you have any issues, I mean, I'll sort that out right now for you, Rashmi. Otherwise, in office hours, that's the place. Are you guys familiar with the concept of office hours? Do they have them in? No, no. Do you know what office hours are? Okay, office hours are basically like in universities, when professors are just sitting like or whatever, like people are just sitting in their office at that time, and anyone can come by and just like talk to them, right, about anything. So that's what office hours are. There's no agenda to those calls. I'll just be around. If I'm not around, it's because I'm whatever taking a break. And if you need me, then just send me a text and I'll jump on. And yeah. So if you have any issues like this normally, then you can just kind of do that. Does everyone know what to do? Okay. Great. So, one thing I really want to do right now or starting this week is do work sessions. So let's do that. So let's take a break right now. All of you can jump off. I know at least like a bunch of you are like full time. So let's do this. Let's meet at 12:30. Okay. We'll do, does that work for people? We can do like 45 or 50 minutes of work before lunch. Okay. So let's meet at 12:30. Take a little break. And then we'll come back, and then there's this thing called kind of co-working, like flow club, whatever. We'll do that, so we can all just sit and work together, and that's something that I want to start doing more of as we go forward. Apurv, I'll help you with the work folder right now. I think that's everything for this call. Thank you for your patience. You can jump off, you can disconnect, or you can just like go on mute and whatever. But let's start at 12:30. And do our next thing. Okay. All right. Awesome. Thanks, guys. Anybody has any questions?